Hello everyone! This is my first time making a video like this, so please bear with me. I've been wanting to do this for a little while now, just to show you guys my process and just kind of reinforce that in art, a lot of things are okay. A lot of people think that, let's say, not tracing specifically, but any type of tracing or whatnot is not okay. But as you could see, I often use a reference that I loosely trace over just to get an idea of the shapes and angles, and then I go in, make my own sketch, and it helps me a lot to just make sure I'm getting the proportions right. I do know my anatomy and I can draw without references, but I don't really like to. It's too complicated, it takes too long, and it's definitely a lot more anxiety inducing worrying about getting everything right. Even with using references, I don't always get things right. So you can see here I'm sketching on her face, which I'm actually going to later totally redo. I really wasn't happy with how this was looking. A three-quarter face angle is pretty difficult, not gonna lie. I switched the canvas horizontally several times to make sure everything's, looking normal and proportioned. Something I'm definitely grateful for in digital art. But yeah, it looked good. It looked not too bad right now, but as I went to color it, it did not look right. So anyways, I'm just laying in the flat colors now. Enjoy the little bit of the process, and I will be back when I start getting back into the face details and some shading. Alright, so I'm starting to get very frustrated with how the face is going. It wasn't too bad, but I was really struggling with the lips, and I don't know why, because I usually don't have this much of a problem. So you can see me here, I'm looking up a few different artists that I really like and seeing how they've done the three-quarter angle, taking a few pointers from those pieces, which really helped with the eye shapes and the placement of the nose and the lip shape as well. I'm even referencing my own work to make sure I keep the style consistent with how I've previously done these angles as well. Right now I'm using the dry ink brush. Now it is a Procreate brush, but I've got the modified version of it, which I got through Maddie Art's Patreon. I learned so much from her, and this is by far the greatest textured line art brush. I really enjoy using it. It just adds that extra dimension to my drawings, but I only use it for the eyelashes and the eyeliner, and sometimes the corner of the lips and nose shape as well, and little details that I might add, as in the lines in the ears or whatnot. But otherwise, with regards to brushes, I'm using the Jing Sketch collection for the outline, as well as all the shading. I use everything in there. I like the, what's it called? I think it's the round render, something like that, as well as the smudge brush for blending out all my shades and highlights. And then I have a few other textured brushes that I've just collected from across the internet that I really like to use. Some of Poopy Cat's brushes, Lotus Bubble, I use some of hers as well. The Loish splatter brush I really like as well, and I just love experimenting with different brushes. Actually, for this piece, I combined a handful of my few favorites into its own section, so I could just easily pick everything, and I didn't have to search all over the place for my brushes, because I'm a very disorganized person in life, on my iPad, on Procreate. Yeah, it needs to work. And for this part here, I originally wanted it to be headphones like in the reference photo, but I actually decided to make it earmuffs instead, which I thought was way cuter and a lot easier to draw as well. I didn't have to worry about the extra designs and spots that headphones would have. Just a lot simpler this way to do earmuffs. And I know the angle was not quite in line with the angle of my girl here. However, I did play with it and try to do it a bit not quite so circular, so it looked a bit more, so it went with the ankle. But personally, I just liked how this looked better. Even though it wasn't like perspectively correct, I just liked how it looked. So now it's time for shading, my favorite part and the fastest part for me in my process. I'm, using that round render in the Jing Sketch collection, and I just loosely place where I want all my shadows to go. I don't like to do anything complicated with multiple light sources or whatnot. I don't want to deal with that. So I keep it very simple, and then I go in with the Jing Sketch smudge brush as well, which blends out everything so smoothly. I used to be an artist that would color pick and blend with various shades of skin tone colors. Just, it gave me a similar effect, but this is just so much easier. I'm definitely grateful for Procreate, because I used to be super Photoshop based, but no, this is just a lot quicker and a lot easier, I guess. I always start with the shadows first, and with the neck usually first as well, because I like to get that defining line between the face and the neck, because I do them on separate layers. So I like to start off with that, so everything looks a bit more normal starting out, because if I leave that till last, it just looks really wonky and kind of throws me off. I like to add a few sharp shadows as well, such as around the eyelid. Not so much makeup, but I don't know, I just think it looks cute, along with on the nose and sometimes the neck as well. Something that I picked up off of Maddie Arts when I was following her on Patreon. I paint my eyes pretty consistently, so you can see the shadow under the lash line there, and then I color pick that dark color of the blue and kind of just make a gradient from the top to bottom. That shadow under the lash line is a gray color on multiply, so it'll stay there no matter what, regardless of what I paint underneath. And then I use a splattery texture brush to, I don't know, it kind of makes the eyes look not sparkly, but just cool, I think. So I'm adding that now, and I play around with it until I just get a look that I like. Now for the most dreadful part, starting on the hair. I don't know about you guys, but it's not as bad now, but I used to really dread doing hair. I would leave it as sketchy as possible, and I don't know, it's just so hard. Just getting all the different layers and having the different layers of hair interact with each other, and where the shadows go and the highlights and the individual strands so it looks natural, and then the shadow of the earmuffs. It's just so much work. It looks easy looking back at this now, sped up, but it's hard. So I'm just kind of outlining where I want the different clumps of hair to go, and shading in what will be maybe a little bit darker and underneath those top clumps of hair, if that makes sense. And then I blend that out, and this was actually something a little bit different I tried for this piece, but I was really happy with how it went. It looked a little bit more how I would want it to look. Some of my other work looks a bit looser in the hair. This looked a little bit more put together. So I can maybe figure out how to combine both techniques. I think that would look really nice for future pieces. And another one of the many edits that I made to this is taking away that big chunk of hair there. I don't know, I just didn't know how to shade it. I didn't think it looked very natural, but then I obviously had to go back and fix the other layers because I shaded according to that piece of hair being there. So now I'm just gonna go back in and fix that up. It's time for highlights, which on pink was another challenge because I don't know, I just wasn't happy with the color. It was really hard to get the color right. I tried different layer adjustment modes, so like overlay and screen, and just, I don't know, I wasn't too happy with it. I played around until I got something that was a bit better. And another technique I'm trying here is blocking out the highlighted areas and then smudging that out, and then I'm gonna go in and erase bits of it, and it'll kind of give like more of that anime effect, if that makes sense. And then to keep it consistent with my style still, I like to have all my hair strands. So I just added a lot of little ones just on the highlighted areas. I thought it looked super cute. So all that's left really is to add the final touches like her blush, the extra details on the earmuffs. Since they are donuts, I added some sprinkles and some sprinkles to her cheeks as well. Since it was the Draw This In Your Style challenge, I wanted to keep it accurate to the original character, but still put my own flair into it. So that's what you're gonna see me do for the rest of the video. And I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I hope that you enjoy the rest. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I'll respond to them, and hopefully you'll be seeing more videos like this coming from me soon. Take care.